All right, everybody, I'd like to welcome you all to the Southern Dogmen podcast tonight. We are joined by Mr. Terry Bailey. He is known in the cur dog world, and I think he's got some tree and curs as well. But we're going to take a little time this afternoon, just get to know Terry a little bit, talk about some of his dogs and his upbringing with the dogs. So we're going to turn it over to Terry. Terry, we get you a little introduction. We don't know much about you, man. We just see you always posting on Facebook, and we see the pictures of your dogs and some of the videos you post every now and then. But let's hear about it, man. How'd you get your start? You know, where are you from? What you running? And a little bit of your background.
Yeah, well, I'm from Decatur, Tennessee. Some of my background goes back when I was a kid with my dad. I coon hunted with my dad as a little kid. Really grew up coon hunting and coon hunted for years. Running competitions some back in the old days. Uh, Probably coon hunted up to I was, in my early 20s, and then got out of hunting for a while because of work, and then about 34, I got back into coon hunting for a while, and had to travel, and then I got back into the when I got back into hunting again. My son-in-law, my daughter got married, and we talked about getting some dogs, and we wanted to try squirrel hunting. So my first dog was a little barger female, and I trained her from ground up, kind of about like I learned from my dad about how to train a coon dog. She made a really good dog, and then we thought, well, we want a little bit bigger dog, something to get out a little bit further. And I bought a couple of dogs from a buddy of mine. I bought a Tennessee Maximus female and a Maximus out of her, and a Crossfire cross on a fast. And that's kind of started pleasure hunting a lot. Even back then, I found out, well, hey, there's squirrel hunts. And my first hunt was with Hootie. She was a brindle female out of Maximus, and Zor, Frank Reed dog. And I went to one hunt, one fifth and seventh with her. Then I took her to the state hunt, and we wound up winning the state hunt. My son-in-law handler, and it just kind of grew from there about the competition level hunting. From that, I kind of did some selling and trading. I bought another Maximus dog named Chevy. I wound up winning fifth in the world coon hunt with him at the OMCBA. He would coon hunt and squirrel hunt, and went on to. I wound up buying Willie. I got a tree and cur, Big Willie, Anthony Morris. He actually come from Jeff Elder years ago. He's 5. He's still in my kennel. He's a Junior World 2021 USDC champion. He's won about 20 something thousand. He's a major lead. I made him NSD Squirrel champion last year. That was my goal, and got that done. And then I bought Bubba from a guy named Chuck Comer who had cancer. And Bubba was 8 years old when he came to my house, and he's just a squirrel dog. Any dog at the lot I got, they're squirrel dogs. I mean, they're straight up. They don't just be making trees. They're gonna tree, and they're gonna have a squirrel most of the time. And but I had some really good success last year. I had Bubba. I won 6th at the LMC with him, and we took him up to nationals. He did okay, not nothing to brag about. He come in 4th overall. I actually hunted a fast for a guy. I won 2nd in the nationals and 3rd in the world with his dog, uh, Michael Ramey. Me and him's going to partner up again this year on his fast dog in the competition. He's got 2 young kids, and his daughter wanted her dog to be a champion, and we didn't really know what to take it that far. But my goal, I set goals every year with my dogs. And my goal this year is I want to get in the top 10 of the OMCBA world with Bubba, and I want to be in the top 10 of LMC, and I like to be in the top 10 in the world with him. He's turned 10 in June, and he's still a heck of a squirrel dog.
Have you
And
feel like
Willie,
you slowed down any bit with him being 10-year old?
man, he gets mad if I don't get him out of the dog lot.
Really?
Yes, he's I think he's still got probably 4 more years left in him. Whenever I had got him from Chuck Comer, the promise I said, hey, I'll hunt him and let him do what he likes to do till he passes away. That year at the LMC last year, Chuck Comer passed away about 2 weeks before the hunt. I never changed Bubba over into my name, and I just handled him, and he won six in the world, registered to Chuck Comer.
Mm.
And, but he's an excellent dog. I've bred him. I got one pup out of him, and I've got some pups on the ground now. Kenneth Reimer had sent me out of Georgia, a female out of Keith Suppmiller's breeding, and we've crossed them, and they'll be treeing curs. And I've got one cur dog looks just like Bubba right now. He's a tree knocking Mike on the bottom, and then of course Rocket Blood on the top. And his mama's an A-Rod female.
Okay, that's kind of goes back to the dog I'm running out now. That Scooby dog. He's heavy Mike bred.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me. I mean, I haven't been in it long. I've just now started getting into the competition stuff. I'm kind of looking in the market to find me a better dog right now. But man, I didn't know Bubba was that old. I'm seeing you always posting about him and everything like that. I've always heard the stigma where when them dogs they start getting that 7, 8 year old, a lot of them start slowing down. This is actually the first time I've heard of an older dog really competing in the competition hunts. I've always been told, 5 to 7 years old they start to slow down. That's real surprising knowing that Bubba's that old.
I really personally like an older dog. I've got a I've got a young dog out of Sting right now. Bought him from Eric Wiley, and he's really going to make a real good dog. He's just a year old,
Mm-hmm.
and but I like a dog 5 years old and up. That's just me.
You think that's
Uh,
when they kind of start hitting their prime for it?
I think it's hitting their prime, and I think it's a lot of how taking care of a dog, and Bubba, he just a lot of feed, like the feeding program you have, what type of energy food you're running on them. The hunting, getting them ready to go to hunt is I hunted every day. And
Mm-hmm.
Bubba, LMC World at 9.5 years old, did pretty daggum good. Matter of fact, Donnie McCurdy went on to win the hunt with his dog, and we was on the same cast together on the second round of that hunt, and it was pouring rain, and Bubba, he really treated two squirrels. I got plussed up on one of them, and he had one den, and Donnie had like four squirrels. He got a lot of good breaks, and it was me, him, and D. Patton had hunted a dog there. Uh, I forget that dog's name. They wound up going third in the world with him, I think, at the NSD.
Now LMC, that's the Legacy Mountain Curs, correct?
Yeah, that's Legacy Mountain Curs, and
What's the big difference between the Legacy Mountain Curs, say between the
well,
OMCBA and the UMCA? I mean, they're all cur dogs, correct?
they are, and just whenever NSD come up, Jimmy was creating something for the cur dogs, and there was a time frame there to when them dogs had to register to be considered LMC, and then now they're letting you earn your way in.
Mm-hmm.
You got to prove your dog, is uh, they got to have so many points. I think the first one was Cody Moreland.
Yeah, I seen that.
Uh,
He pushed that dog last year to get that, correct?
yes, he did,
Yeah.
and he's got a real nice little dog. And in the competition, I mean, you go out there. I mean, right now it's pretty tough. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
every dog out there is decent dog. They wouldn't come to that hunt unless they were shooting for a good chance. And most of the handlers, in the competition, to me, in the squirrel hunt, from years ago, me coon hunting, I just think it's a better sportsmanship. I belong to the East Tennessee Squirrel Hunters Association with Tim Tip and Bo Butler. Tim's a really good promoter. They got really good dogs. They're always fun to draw out with. It's always competitive with any of the guys of the club up there.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I mean, he just don't do it from there to our club. We had a fundraiser last year, raised $7,200, I think. We do a big kids hunt every year, and every kid wound up leaving with a gun.
Really?
And
Now,
yeah,
is that I guess, an open event? Like you can bring tree and cur or mountain
yeah,
cur? Okay.
that's just where we get volunteers to bring your dog,
Yeah.
and we'll take a cast of kids with us, and the game warden goes with us.
Man, I'd like to
And
get in on that. That's something I like to see is getting the kids involved, helping the sport grow, getting them out and everything. Because I'm 29. I just got into the competition hunting, and I've been to 3. And man, I feel like every time I'm there, I'm about the youngest one out there.
yeah,
Uh, I know the coonhound world. There's a big youth push. I think the pro sports pushing the youth and everything. They do the 4-wheeler giveaway and all that, but I'm not seeing much of it on the squirrel dog side, at least, or maybe I'm just overlooking it. But
I know it's USDC. They've been doing some youth hunts every year at their World Hunt.
mm-hmm.
It seems to be getting decent. And then NSD's had some Abe Williams' son last year, and I think another boy that they own the Ben dog. They got like handler of the year, and a lot of it's the dads too. Getting with your children and getting them involved, and that's kind of what we did at the club. Is we get people who don't even squirrel hunt show up, and they're learning about the sport, and hopefully they'll get a dog, and we're actually looking into trying to have some youth hunts there at Vonore,
Okay,
just to pick it up a little bit.
man, I'd like to get up there and cover that if I'm available for that. Y'all shoot any videos or anything like that when y'all do any of that?
Yeah, last year at the youth hunt, they actually had a guy come in. He did a little video of the whole thing. Tim Tipton actually posted that on the Facebook page on the East Tennessee Squirrel Hunters. You can watch that.
Okay,
Actually, Bubba's in it. They went with me and Steve Frazier and 3 little boys, and we finally wound up at the very end treeing some squirrels. It was a pretty tight day. It wasn't the best day, but we wound up getting some there at the end.
still made them kids a day just watching the dog work and being able to shoot
Yeah,
a couple out, didn't it?
yeah, and that's a good thing. OMCBA does real good with the youth as far as like the bench show.
Mm-hmm.
They'll let all the kids come up and show the dog and everything. But most of the people out here in the squirrel hunting world, uh, with these kids, if they're on a cast, I mean, they're going to treat them really good.
Yeah.
And even with a newcomer last year, Tom Smith, we hunted up to NSD hunt, and we hunted and they had a 9 dog or $100 open, and they raised it up to 18 dogs, and that was a new guy that come in with a fast dog. He wound up beating us. I
Really?
had Big Willie, and Tom Smith was handling Romeo, and Tom was like, "Hey, now when I tree my dog, at the very end of the hunt, and was kind of not telling him to tree his dog, but in a roundabout way, letting him know that if we tree it and have a squirrel, he's beat." And he wound up treeing his dog, and he won our cast. So I think most people on the competition world are really inviting to people. They're not like trying to run you off, or they want you to come back, and they want you to have a good time. They want you to have a good hunt. You get the breaks. It takes a lot with the dog. You got to have a good dog, and you got to have the breaks, and that's what it's all about. And what I look for is consistency in a dog. Like Bubba's really consistent. He's either going to show out 100%, or if they ain't really moving that great, I mean, if he can win one or something, he just not gonna make up trees.
So
He's
he's more the I like to call as a plus point dog. He's not going to take
yeah,
a lot of risk and everything.
right. He's not a real risky dog, and he's a plus point style dog.
Have you noticed
Uh,
that's hurt you in any of these competition hunts? How he won't, you know, I guess pull up the tree to get you some circle points, get you on the scorecard. Has that hurt you in any of the hunts, or you
it
know?
did, it has once or twice, but at the end of the day, I'm the kind of guy. If I go into a hunt and not have a dog, if I've won my cast, I've done it with a squirrel dog. At the end of the day, uh, I would like sometimes to have another tree, even Willie. He'll tree some squirrels, and then he's liable to get 700 yards out of pocket. He'll get deep
Mm-hmm.
at times. He's a little bit different style dog. He's what I would call an ambush dog, where Bubba's a good nose dog. He's got a nose on him.
Now break down the
Uh,
difference between an ambush and a nose dog for people that don't understand.
Ambush style dog to me, they're looking for a hot one. I mean, they're gonna get through the woods, and they're looking for that movement, and they're looking for that squirrel. And not saying he can't smell them by nose, but he likes a hot squirrel. He likes to see one on the ground, and then shoot it up a tree and then get treed.
Mm-hmm.
That's an ambush style dog to me. Or a nose dog is more, he's smelling, he's hitting the tree. I've seen Bubba, turn around and wind on a little old sapling and beat it, and the squirrel comes out of the hole. That's the difference to me in an ambush style dog and a nose dog. A good nose on a dog.
Okay.
And I like both styles. Uh, I've bought a dog out of Iowa last year. His name is Dash. He's actually been that's being advertised right now by Tracy Rash's brother. He's Deuce's brother. He never has been in it, but in one hunt, he's won a first place. He's an Animal Donald bred dog, and there wasn't but 2 of them litters out of that cross. And I think he's going to be a real nice dog. He's a nose dog. He's kind of got it together with his style of hunting too. I kind of like his style of hunting.
He burn the woods up pretty quick.
No, not really. He's a go around checking the trees. He'll ease around. You don't think he's really moving. The next thing you know, he may be 300 yards in there.
All right. Here's a question for a newcomer like myself. If you're looking at your Garmin, what kind of speed do you want to see on some of these competition dogs? What would you suggest a good average speed for them? Because I've been in the woods with some that average 4 mile an hour, and I've seen the dogs that they're 7, 8. They're just burning the woods down.
Yeah, I guess honestly, I have never really paid attention to that. I'm always looking for the direction my dog's in. The yardage, how far he's out, and kind of seeing where somebody else may be. Asking the question, "Hey man, where's your dog?" Because these dogs are going to split tree.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be alone. 90% of these dogs are going to be alone. And that's what you want on a competition level. You want a dog that gets by itself. You want one to have a squirrel. Him not be tagging along. On another dog's back. That's what you kind of want to look for on the dog. You want to kind of. That's what's going to get you to winning at the end of the day. If he's a loner.
If he's out there doing it himself.
Yeah, that's what you kind of want on these squirrel hunts. Because like I said, most of these dogs they're going to split off, get treed. They're athletes. I mean, on game day, Bubba can be 10 years old, but he knows when he's going to a hunt, and it just turns this different switch with him and Willie and even the little Rocky Feist I hunted. I've seen that Feist I treated him in at the NKC World last year. His first tree was 762 yards.
Phew, boy.
And that's for a Feist.
I was about to say, usually, them Feist, everybody says they're a real close hunting dog, and they're always hunting with their eyes, man. That's crazy, 700 yards.
But I love the cur dogs. I think I lean more toward the cur style dog. I like the differences in all dogs. But it's to me, I like the style of a cur dog.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing I haven't been in the woods yet, or in the woods with yet. I haven't been in the woods with any Feist yet. Just ain't got anybody local to me, but I've been in the woods with the cur dogs. I mean, Scoob, he's OMCBA, UMCA. I've been in the woods with the tree and cur that a buddy of mine owns, and I can tell a little bit of the difference between the tree and cur and I guess you could call it the original mountain cur. I feel like the winding ability is a little bit better on the tree and cur side. I don't know if that comes from the bird dogs that's getting mixed in or the hounds that's getting mixed in, but to me, it seems like they got a little bit more of the winding ability.
I think they got more drive, like a hound's going to hunt out. And maybe speed wise, they may be a little bit more on the feet, just comparing some things that's out there, that can get through the woods.
You see a difference in a tree and cur taking those risks more, you think? Because it's got the hound side in it?
I think so. I think it's the nose sometimes on some of them that they may smell something that might have been there this morning, and most time I think for a tree and cur, you're going to see a few more trees, but there's cur dogs out there. I mean, they'll flat make some trees too. So
That's like that Cody Moreland's dog. I mean, he's run it in some of those USDC and all that, right?
I don't know if if Cody has run much USDC. Now he runs the NSD circuit
Okay, yeah, that's what I was
pretty
thinking
good.
about. That's where
He,
it's kind of like an open format. It's run what you brung, correct?
that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Well, I took the fast last year to an open hunt. It was 18 dogs, and he was the only fast there, and I wound up six with him, and he was the only fast in the hunt.
Well, I bet you was tickled with that, wasn't you?
He's a Rocky is a phenomenal fast dog owned by Michael Ramey out of Martin, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Is he
And
one of them smaller built fast or?
yeah, he's a smaller dog. Even Pig, if you look at Pig, Ken Kaisley, last year at the USDC Joey Post Invitational,
Mm-hmm.
he beat Deacon, which um, he moved on to the second round for a fast to be the only fast there. And even at the World Hunt, I've been with Ken several times and drawed him. Pig's a real little dog, man. He keeps him in the house. He surprises me because he's like a house dog,
I've heard
but
he's about the size of a Chihuahua. He real
he's big.
small, ain't he?
No, he's not real small.
Okay.
He's a decent size. He's not a huge fast,
Mm-hmm.
but he's just so accurate. I mean, he's predictable. That's to me like Bubba is a predictable dog. I mean, he there's not nothing really that's not that's not predictable about Bubba. He's a solid dog. You're going to get the same results, and that's to me when you're in this competition level where you're at now. That's kind of what you're looking for. You don't want a dog to throw you off, and him just out of the blue, do something. You need that solid dog, or in your training, you're training like you're competition hunting. When you go cut loose for just like I'm gonna go out and pleasure hunt today, I'm gonna pleasure hunt like I'm on a 90-minute round,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna handle my dog like I'm on that 90-minute round. I'm gonna hunt him to that style of hunting, and that's every time I cut loose. Whether I'm shooting some out on him, or whatever, I'm still gonna handle him like I'm hunting him in a hunt.
Yeah. See
That's how I do it.
that's kind of what I'm going through now. I got my dog. I went through several dogs just before I found this one that I like. Got him late November last year. He'd been laid up. I mean, it took me 4 or 5 times in the woods before I got him treeing. I put him in a UMCA hunt down there in Lolly. Should have won that hunt, but took 6. I took a minus. But now I'm fighting him from trying to go back another dog and trying to get him to get gone. Try to, I guess, make him more, give him more drive. I know you can't put drive in a dog, but he's kind of, to me, he's like Beaky Buzzard sometimes. He goes out there, just kind of mopes around. He's still going to make trees. He's still going to have the squirrels, but I'm starting to see now the more dogs that I'm hunting with, man, I've got to do a lot of work or he just ain't, I feel like he ain't going to fit the bill. I mean, I went this evening, I hunted with Tim Moore and Roger. Dang, what's Roger's last name? Dang, it's skipping my mind right now. But he's got the Chloe female that won the Tennessee State hunt last year. And
Correct.
man, you talk about humble pie this evening, and that's what I got a taste of. I guess it's the first time I've really seen like a true competition style dog go, and it's just like, man, what am I doing wrong now?
Well, in these like when you're in training, like to say if you got a dog problem where your dog backing on a dog, you can do what they call slingshot. I mean, where you got your buddy, his dog, you turn it loose first, let it go in there and get treed, let him get down in there, turn your dog loose, and when she comes, he or she comes in that toward that dog, you just run it off.
Yeah, and that's
You
what
take the cat.
that's what we worked with this evening, man. But it's like he wouldn't get it into his head. And I feel like I kind of shut him down this afternoon, and he come in on one, and she was in there treeing, and here come my dog over the top of the hill, and I told him, I was like, he gets on the tree with her or gets around her, I'm gonna buzz him. And I didn't even have it high. I think I had my Garmin set on about 4, and I hit him twice, man, and it shut him down. It shut him down. So I guess
But I think like in as far as most guys, you can get a lot of tips from people. when I first get a dog, when I handled Rocky last year, I never really buzzed him. I never really toned him, or I just let the dog be the dog, and I start looking at what I need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a little off the tree, and I'll leash him up high on the tree and make him stay there, and then I pet him and give him a treat or whatever you carry in your pocket if you do that. And most of the time, for me, it's just being consistent at what you do. So if you're going to, you know, uh, say you want your dog not to come off the wood and you're going to make him stay on there like he's backing off or kind of milling around, you want to be consistent at what you're doing with your collar. So there's like if you got a milling dog, you want him on that tree, you start working with him. But every time you do that, you want to be consistent in what you're doing. Start in there right at him at first, and when he comes off the tree, maybe tone it down on a low range buzz, shocking, and then letting him know you want him on the tree. And then later on, you're 50 yards out. Then next time you're 150 out, but you're consistent on what you're doing, and then it's the same every time.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you're sending that message to that dog exactly what you're wanting every time you go in the woods with that dog, or if it's doing a discipline in the yard or whatever. Uh, but a lot of what I do is I try to let the dog be the dog, and there's natural dogs for sure. I feel like this Sting dog I got right now, I call him Macho Man. He's been treeing squirrels probably since he was 5 months old.
Yeah, I got
I,
a
I,
I got a
I
pup
made a
off
few
Sting as
videos.
well.
Yeah, I made a few videos of him, uh, but I've kind of kept it on the down low too a little bit.
Oh yeah, you want to keep a hot sauce in the back. That's what I keep telling my buddy. He's got a good little jip coming up right now, and man, she she showed out this evening. She looks good. We're excited about her. Uh,
That's the thing, you get out here, and I can go to hunt this year, and there's totally something different out there, that you're up against,
mm-hmm.
on the continent, and guys are doing some phenomenal crosses on breeding, and I mean, there's some great dogs out there. I mean, Bubba was once owned by Jeff Elder. I think he owns the what's that name dog that he hunts that he's won so much money with, Jade.
Mm-hmm.
He actually owned Willie at one time, too. Also, if you look up Bubba's lineage, if you find Johnny Rocket, I mean, he was a phenomenal dog for us, like winnings in PKC and UKC and USDC, and I mean, he was just an all-around dog. Uh, that Johnny Rocket was, and I think Bubba took a lot after his daddy. And some people might not like his style or whatever, but to me, I just like him because he's so solid of a dog. He's what I look for is I want one predictable. I had a dog Hootie that was out of Reed Franks's dog, like I said, Maximus, and she was predictable. Man, that dog was a squirrel dog, and she was a very predictable dog. She was going to be the same dog every time you carried her to the woods, whether you was pleasure hunting, whether you was competition hunting. I mean, she was that dog. She had a few quirks at times, but they all do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they
They
all
all
they
got
all have.
they all got problems. I mean, my little Sting pup right now. I've got some above ground kennels. Got a doghouse out there in them. Man, I cannot get her to quit pooping inside her doghouse. It is driving me nuts. I thought she had quit and hadn't checked it in about a week. Well, today I went up there and was washing my floor out, and I was like, man, I'm just going to check her doghouse. Sure enough, I spun that thing around. Oh, my Lord. I was about ready to jerk a knot in her. I mean, it's driving me crazy.
Yeah,
And
they got their quirks. They all do. Bubba's got his quirks. I'll feed him, and then he'll throw his head back and uh, do that ball and Bubba bark, and I'm like, really, man? I just come out here. I fed you. I patted you.
yeah.
He's got his quirks. When I go to hunt, sometimes I'm thinking, man, you know, what are you doing? I can go and him not look nothing like, and then go one day and him look good, but
Hmm.
he's like it. I figured out he's consistent. Either he's 100% game on. I mean, it's just funny, and when he is, he shines. I mean, he looks really good. Last time I took him to, I hunted against Bo Cephas and Hattie, which are great dogs. Tim Tipton was handling Bo Cephas, and Neil, I forget his last name, was handling Hattie. That's Bo Cephas was LMC Junior World, and Hattie won NSD Junior World last year with Jess Smith and Neil. And I mean, they both looked good. But Bubba, man, he was just clicking it off. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. He was just doing good. He looked good that day. uh, and for the most part, it's just I hunted a lot. I hunt daily. I'll go in the evening times. I go and I take a lot of vacation in the fall of the year and the winter
Hmm.
time.
I've saved
And
all mine up just to be able to run the UMCA hunts this year. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
I really like all the registries. I mean, I have, you know, NSD, I think to me is really good. USDC, I think is doing good stuff. OMCBA, there's a lot of guys, man. You get hear a lot of bad stuff, and I don't like that. Everybody has a bad day, but there's no need to run a registry or because there's a lot of people we do it. We enjoy it, and we want to keep that around, and we want to keep the good camaraderie. And just because one guy had a bad hunt that day, uh, I find most of the people that's out there uh, really good people, and it ain't saying that you may have a difference on a cast of opinion at times. But I'll shake your hand and say, "Hey, man, your dog did good. If you beat me, you beat me, right?
Oh, exactly.
Uh,
If I
be
get
a gentleman, be a good sportsman, and when you leave this old world, one of these days, man, you make a lot of friends along the way, and it's in whatever you do,
Yeah, that's what I'm finding out now, man. Like I said, I'm the young gun on the streets. I feel like I'm just getting into it, man. I haven't known anybody, but I've already made some great friends doing this. Just talking dogs, showing up to the few hunts I had. I mean, there are some great people out there in the dog world. There's some sour apples out there, man. But 9 times out of 10, you're gonna run across some great guys, and it turns into some good fellowship. I'm loving it.
I think for the most part, for all the older guys that's been around, been into getting into the squirrel, Jimmy, all them guys, that's what they want. I mean, they want uh, a good cast, a good hunt, no problems. Let the dog be the dog. If you get beat, Donnie McCurdy, man, when he won the LMC World, his dog looked good. I mean, and I had hunted against the dog before. I knew what he had, and the dogs look good 2 times I've hunted with the dog, and I've not seen anything bad in the dog that I didn't like personally. She has a few little quirks, but other than that, she'll beat you. I mean, you're gonna have some competition. I
See,
used to think,
Mr. McCurdy lives about 40 minutes up the road from me, and I've yet to hunt with him.
yeah, he's good. He has a good stock of dogs,
Hmm.
and Eric Wiley. I mean, he's got some proven dogs. I mean, that's why I bought a pup out of Sting because, in my opinion, I hunted with Sting 4 or 5 times, and he just, every time it was he was consistent. Uh, he was a hard tree dog. I mean, he was and I knew I had to have one out of that cross, and at first I wanted one out of, I tried to get one out of Josie,
Red
but they
Hot
were all,
Josie.
yeah, they were all
Yep.
spoken for, and I couldn't get a pup, and so I got a pup out of the next litter he had.
Yeah,
Uh,
mine come out of I think it was Mandy Instinct.
mm-hmm.
It was one of them crosses that Mr. Jeff Lancaster made down there. I'd rode down and that's where I picked mine up from. Went to spent the weekend with them, so I got high hopes for her, man. I love listening to her bark up at the kennel boy. She can spit them out, and started doing some drag. She's got a good nose on her, but she's still young. She won't bark on the tree yet, but man, she can find them drags. She'll go through the yard, throw her head up, and she'll go right to the tree.
Which, if you look at that cross, Sting goes back to Festus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got another Festus Jip that's really a tree and cur. That's out of Willie's Big Jim 2020 sister that Jimmy Ingram owned, and Festus uh, Cross. And I've got a female pup there, and I got high hopes for her. She's not even a year old, but she'll probably have some wheels on her being out of Big Jim,
Yeah.
like really. And I really bought it because if I ever made that cross, I mean, it would be a really good cross. I hadn't had much luck with Willie breeding him. Uh, I tried to breed him to a Walker female that my son-in-law owns. That's a really hard tree dog, and we wanted to put a little bit more tree in him, and put a little more hound on that side of it. But Willie's got the wheels on him. He's got the go, the go power. But you take Tim Tipton and them. I mean, they're pushing some Festus dogs, and then they like the Big Woody. You know what I mean? If you go back to him, and there's always good crosses out of that. Dusty hunted a dog named Rebel. I forget his name. He comes out of Kentucky. Hunts with Les and them. Hart, and he won the Tennessee Classic last year at Bonner on the NSD Invitational, and he looked real good. That Rebel dog did, and he was a Woody dog. And Liz at Bo hunts with him. She's a Woody crossed female. But I like the Festus blood. I really like Animal Donald's stock of dogs. I mean, I bought one. I bought one just because of what I seen, out of how they hunted, how they treed, and I was interested in that because Gary Mitchell was handling. Man, I forget that dog. It's not Ace because they actually Ace was handled by. I can't even remember his. I'm bad with names. You have to forgive me, but. That's what made me kind of lean to maybe that stock of dog because I seen what style of dog they were, and that's kind of what I look for when I go to these hunts. And guys buying dogs out here, they don't realize the time that people has put in these dogs.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to realize that myself. I mean, I put a lot of
The
time in my
time,
dog, son. I mean,
right?
up and down the road is wore 2 pairs of boots out, behind him, and I still don't think he's the dog he could be. And it's, I'm new to it, learning on the fly, just talking to people. I'm not a dog man. I give him a trip to the woods, is like everybody likes to say.
Yeah, and then when you're buying crosses of pups, and you got to realize, what, there's a guy. I got a pup out of my side, come out of Texas. I still got him. Uh, got some hopes for him. We'll see what happens. Uh, but I mean, Wade Hildebrand. I mean, he's got a proven dog. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and they put a lot of time. His dad and him put a lot of time in them dogs. Um, I mean, like I said, every dog you go up there and you go against, if it's Pig that you go hunting against Ken Kaisley, a Feist, if it's Cody Moreland, if it's Tim Tipton, Bo Butler, you know, if Tracy Rash is going to handle a dog, he's got Josie that can still beat you, and I think she's 11. Uh, but I mean, every dog out there, Gary, trying to remember Gary Smith, he had his dog is I forget that dog's name. He's 2-time world champion 2022, 2023 NSD. He was a neutered dog, and he was I think 7 when he won in 2023. 7-year-old dog, and he didn't come last year to the NSD World, and I was surprising to see him. But everybody out there now in that they've done the research on their dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've done the what other dogs are doing. They've really looked into the style dog that maybe fit them, and then they're working off of all that, and then they're trying to build something in these hunts. So it ain't easily come by. And like I've got Macho Man, out of Sting. He just turned a year old, but just because he turned a year old don't mean he ain't a dog. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's a natural dog, and them's hard to find. So if somebody said, "Hey, what would you take for him?" You said, "Well, I'd take $3,500 or 25, whatever." Just not saying he's for sale, but it's the time you had in that dog, and you realizing, what his potential is in the right hands of people, and that's why a lot of guys looking for a good young started dog that's in that competition world. they understand that, but it's people outside that box that really might need to understand everything it takes to get there. I mean, Eric Wiley hunts all the time. I mean, he's fighting off cottonmouths, when he's home off his job,
Do you
and
think
he's
that?
still.
Do you think that's what it takes to make some of these big time competition dogs? I mean, do you think it's? I guess so you could say it's the dog and the handler, correct? Or is it
Yes.
more the handler? Putting a ton of time in that dog, making the corrections, spending time with it, or do you think it's like a 50-50 ship?
Oh, I think it's the owner, the handler, and the dog. I mean, I think the dog's got to have potential for sure, and then from that point, it's the boot time. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's getting out there and really doing the work. I personally don't like making a dog with a collar. That's just me.
By
I like the
that, by
natural.
that you mean like shocking it, making it do it, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
like a
Okay.
natural
Yep.
natural ability right out of the gate. I like that pup that shows that 100% natural ability.
See, I don't
Uh,
even like getting on to my dog. I've never been one of those. I kind of came from a coon hunting background, and I've been around some guys that when they get on to them, they get on to them, and you're sitting there going, God Almighty, how could something take that? And I never wanted to be that type of person. So I mean, I break a hickory off and just throw it up in the air. I don't even want to hit my dog or spank him or anything. I want that natural ability, like you're saying, also. But I know you have to correct them from time to time, and I'm starting to realize that now.
I think the collar, is the best thing that's been invented by man, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Tracking and discipline, uh, all 9 yards. But I think too, it's finding that proven stock of dogs out there that's going to have that natural ability. Looking what's out there, looking at what these guys have done to build that proven stock of dog, to get what they're, to. I mean, you take Adam O'Donnell right now. I think he's got a dog named Ice, a young pup that's out there treating squirrels. I mean, he's out there hunting. He's done a lot of research on breeding. Uh, I think Eric does a real good job on handling his dogs. They're always if you draw them, you're going to have a hunt.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on that cast with them. So some of these guys, it's got to that level. They didn't get to that level by sitting at the house or not knowing dogs and knowing how to train them to be at that competition level. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what it takes. I think you got to find in my opinion, you got to find that natural style starting dog. And then from that point, it's just building, and then it's just the boot time, and it's the correcting, and it's the fixing the quirks that the dog needs fixed on.
What do you
You
think
know,
that age gap is when they really start to show that natural ability? Do you think it's coming up at 3, 4 months old, or you think it's that year mark, year and a half mark? You hear the stories of, oh, my dog's 4 months old. I'm killing squirrels to it.
yeah, I've had a friend of mine that had a Kimmer Cur that didn't train squirrels till she was 3 years old. That's a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Some people ain't going to put that time in. Uh, I like to see that trend ability when they're young. I like to see, if I got a snag hanging up, if I'm running a drag, they can get windy. Uh, and I'll use Macho Man out of Sting, for instance. I done that stuff when he was small, when he was young. And then I just started carrying him to the woods. Well, I'm out hunting him one day. All of a sudden, I notice him smelling on the ground, go up to a tree. The next thing I know, I see he's smelling up the tree. There's a squirrel timbers out. He was 4 months old at the time. I just had him out, just letting him get out as a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying that he's still not a puppy because he's still a puppy. And then you start seeing him grow from that point to where he is today. He's still got some quirks about him right now. Where if one timbers, he just wants to shut down and go find another in the tree. He don't timber that squirrel out. And some people might think that's okay, but if he was on a hunt, if he put all that much time in, I wished he would go out and finish that track, even if he was timbering that squirrel. Uh, and he's got some, like if you come out with a dog lead, he'll see you with a dog lead. He'll tree, but he sees you with a dog lead. He just sits back, and of course, conserves energy. But some people might like that. Uh, I'd assume for him to keep on treeing, but that don't make him a bad dog. It's just he's young. He's still young. I'm not going to get rid of him because of it. I think that's where the patience comes in, and giving that dog the time he needs. Some people got maybe a better tactical on dogs, how they decide to train. It's just my way of looking for a dog, or what I'm looking in, because I feel like once I get that natural dog, I've got a Bubba, down the road.
All you got to do is put the boot leather in.
Yes, I've got the consistency, I got the natural ability, and that's what type of dog I got at the end of the day. And when he wins it right. And that's what I look. That's what I want. I want them to say, I remember the first round of LMC. I think Bubba treated like 4 squirrels, maybe, in the cast. Mike Rush and I hunted against his dog Grace and Bocephus, which are both great dogs. It was just Bubba's day. I mean, he was in every tree we go to, he'd have a squirrel. It was just like they was appearing out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And that's the type of cast. If I'm winning, that's how I like to win. I like to win uh, with a dog that's just got that ability. That either it's that day for him. He's not drumming up. And I've been beat by dogs that can drum something up. Uh, but for me, when Bubba's on his game and his ability, I mean, he's a contender all day long. I feel like he's a top 10 dog at any hunt I go to. That's just me. That's my attitude with him. I know he has that ability to do that. I'm not guessing him. And that's what I'm looking for in a young dog. I'm looking for that. I don't have to guess what that dog's going to do or how he's going to make it down the road. I can kind of see the future in that dog.
Oh yeah. I hope you get to ride down here to Georgia. Like I said, I'm throwing 3 hunts. They're all UMCA hunts, but I hope you can get Bubba down here and maybe come hunt with us one of the hunts, or I can get up there, man. I'd like to get up there to Tennessee, come hunt with you as well.
I'll come down and hunt the UMCA hunts. I have not hunted one, but I'm wanting to. Bubba's UMCA registered. Uh, and I think it'd be real good. There's a lot of good guys out of Georgia, like I said, I hunt with and hunted around and enjoy being around them. They're all Mickey Wheeler and some of them guys are really good people. I like Mike Dooley. I mean, to me, I think, they're always been good to me. You know what I mean? That's how I look at people.
The longer I talk to people and the more I'm getting out there and trying to meet new people, man, I didn't realize how many good dog men were in Georgia. I thought they was in your neck of the woods, Tennessee, Arkansas, the Mississippi, and now I'm starting to finally meet people and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of good dog men around me that I just didn't realize.
Oh, there's a lot of good dog men around you.
So,
and even around me, I mean, there's a lot of good dog people right around here. Lane Parks he's got whip and post. She's always a contender when you draw her out. I mean, I could just set in this name, people after people. But every time you go, you know who they are, and you'll realize when I draw him, I'm gonna have a good hunt. It's gonna be what it's supposed to be. It's gonna be sportsmanship, and it's up to the dog. It's up to your time in them woods with that dog, and putting in the work, and getting out there and getting payback for it.
That's kind of why I've gotten into this. I wrestled all through high school, got out of that. I got into tournament bass fishing there for a little while, got out of that, and there for about 4 or 5 years. I was like, man, I still got that competitiveness. I got to find me something else to do, and I got into these squirrel dogs, man, and I've fallen in love with the sport. I absolutely love it.
There's a lot of good people doing a lot of good stuff out there. Like I said, USDC, UMCBA. I mean, they're going to the next, NSD. They're picking it up. I mean, and every hunt you go to, it's very, Joey Post and them. I didn't hunt in USDC. I went to a hunt last year to kind of spectate. I didn't know much about it, but they're very good guys. I mean, I didn't see anybody out there, me personally, that I would think would be a bad guy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I treat people I like to be treated, and I go out there just like they are. I'm there to win. I'm there. I want my dog to do good, and I want to be able to, shake my hand or I'll shake your hand at the end of the day. And that's what it needs to be when we're out here in these hunts. It needs to be that style of hunt that you're having and putting on.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm gonna try to hit as much as I can this year. I know I ain't far from Jamestown. I know they hold several hunts with OMCBA. I've not seen anything else posted around Georgia yet. That's one reason I wanted to host these UMCA hunts, man. I've been talking to Bob like nobody was going to throw anything, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I got a group of guys that's going to ride up and help me throw them, and I'm looking forward to them. I got the one in October. I'm going to have a state hunt in November, and then we're going to do another in December. And if we have all good turnouts, man, I'd like to throw one before turkey season, get a good spring hunt going before it starts getting green and everything. Man, I'm excited. I'm fired up for this season.
And that's what it takes. It takes getting some other guys behind you, in it, and I think our club having a meeting on the 26th of this month, and kind of we'll go over the hunts that Tim Plotty wants to have, and how we're going to go about doing. I noticed we have two OMCB hunts in January. The invitational hunts are in October for the Tennessee Classic, what they call it, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's a Friday, Saturday. I think they have one hunt one day, and then they do the Tennessee Classic. And then I'm glad you're holding that state hunt there in Georgia, right there close, where I can come down and hunt Bubba in the UMCA.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're trying to have a big turnout. I'm gonna do a coon hunt on Friday if we can get enough people. But Saturday, man, I've got some nice trophies made up. I'm gonna do the bench show. I've got some ribbons I'm getting made, treeing competition, uh, and I think I'm talking to some people. We're going to try to raise some money to be able to buy either a shotgun or a rifle, and we're going to give it away to the dog with the most plus points on the squirrel hunt. So that's still kind of in the works, but that's what we're shooting for, man. But I'm hoping for a good turnout, man. I want it to be worth people to come. I've heard some of the rumblings. People's like, man, it's just why drive if we're just getting a piece of paper. So I'm wanting to try to make it worth people to come. I'm gonna try to cook. I might do some Boston butts on the Traeger. I just want people to come, have a good time, want to enjoy the fellowship. See the dogs on the bench. I mean, people maybe bring some kids. Man, I just want to see everybody get together and have a good time. Is what I'm looking forward to.
yeah, that's what I try to support. Almost all the registries that I can throughout the year. I had some goals last year, like I said, with Willie. I wanted him to be an NSD Squirrel champion. I mean, it seemed like the last 75 points took me forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, he got 40 and I didn't need but 10. It was just that type of day. Uh, and you'll get that, and I think people, uh, there's a lot to the sport and it's growing. I don't think, I wouldn't call out one registry better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's got to do with the people that's going. And I don't particularly have one in particular that I would call that I'd hunt over the other one. I try to support most of them, and I try to come with a good attitude and hoping my dog can do the work, that I need him to do that day, and hope to meet good people and have a good time, like you're saying, you know.
I understand that, buddy. Well, man, we've been going for almost an hour here. I appreciate you taking the time this afternoon. Heck, I know it's kind of late, but I appreciate you getting on here and talking to me. And, man, I hope we get together some this year and we can hunt. I mean, I think I'm only about an hour and 30 minutes, hour and 40 minutes from your town. So,
That ain't nothing. We'll get together. It'd be good to meet you and good to hunt. We'll get to go hunting. Let you see the old Bubba dog, and uh, I hope to keep bringing the old man out. And man, I would love to win a world hunt with him, and just because I just know the kind of dog he is. He just,
mm-hmm.
I mean, he to me, I just love the dog. I love his attitude.
He's a good looking joker, man. I love the pictures of him.
Yeah, I love his mouth, and I like everything about him. And he may not be somebody's deal, but whenever you got that buddy,
Mm-hmm.
it'll probably hurt me the day that he does go on the ground, I guess. But I know there's a day coming. But until then, man, I'm gonna let him enjoy his life and do what he likes to do. That's what my promise was to Chuck. And when I come to the hunt, man, I come, I'm hunting for not only Bubba, but I'm hunting. I think doing what he likes to do, but I also think about people and down that line that's raised Bubba and who brought him up from a pup and all that. I know the time and it takes, just from growing up as a kid with my dad coon hunting and all the dogs we raised, and even from me now doing what I'm doing and uh, at HR Kennels, it's Hiwassee River Kennels. That's why I call it HR Kennel. I live by the Hiwassee River, and I just enjoy the sport and enjoy the people, enjoy the hunting. I enjoy my dogs, uh, love it, and man, I love having a good time. I mean, I made some really good friends along the way, and it's a good thing. I really like it 10 times better than coon hunting. I'm not knocking the coon hunters out there, and I haven't been in a long time to a competition coon hunt. But to me, it's just I just like it a whole lot better.
I'm at the age now, heck, I like to be in the bed by a decent time. I don't want to be out
Yeah,
chasing a hound all night.
yeah,
I've done it, man. That's kind of where I started at. Didn't do it a whole lot. I went with my uncles and everything, and I always thought I was like, yeah, this is fun. Got a little older, and I'm like, I just don't know if this is for me, man. But I got into these squirrel dogs. I'm like that. That's what I'm gonna do till I can't walk no more. So
but I want to tell you, I appreciate you and what you're doing with this podcast. And I think any guys out there that's got them, I appreciate all of them
yeah,
because
man. I just
it gives us hunters something to listen to,
mm-hmm.
something that's put together that we can sit around and it kind of gets us fired up a little bit maybe about this upcoming season,
Oh yeah. I
a
mean,
competition season coming up.
my
And
my goal with this is to, I know some people think, oh, dog man, they're terrible guys. They let dogs out on private. They try to run the deer off, this, that. I want to bring a better light to the sport. I want to spread, some of the competitions, but I've got a goal this year. I'm going to try to cover some of the UMCA hunts live,
yeah,
kind of like what they're doing with the coon hunts and everything. Trying to get that in the works. But man, I want to help the sport grow. I mean, I've fallen in love with it, man, and I want to push it as hard as I can. So, I thought about starting this up, getting dog men and just talking dogs. I've got some guys that they're running bear dogs up here in Georgia and North Carolina. I'm gonna have them on to talk.
yeah,
I'm gonna have some bagel dogs. Any dog man, I want them on here. I just want to talk dogs and spread the word because I think all of us try our best to be good guys. Like I said, I think some people they give us that bad stigma, but man, we're like anybody else.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's some of the best hunting in the world, hunting behind a dog. That's just me.
My thing that makes me the happiest is I can take my dog out of the pen and I can take my nephew and my son and let them follow that dog. And when that joker starts treeing, I don't think there's a better smile in the world you can see. That's my opinion, but I think it
Yeah,
beats. I think it beats a kid shooting a deer or anything like that, man.
that's for sure, no doubt. I think I get bored doing that anyway. But
I do too.
I mean, yeah, I just met too many good people,
Yeah.
and along the way, I do appreciate you what you're trying to do and putting it up there and I suggest anybody listening that's out here that's in the squirrel hunting that you give them a call. Hey, come out here and tell us some stuff about your dogs and let us know your opinion on training and all that's really good stuff. You hear a lot of good stuff that
Yeah. I know there's.
Cody and them are putting out on his podcast. And
Yep.
that's good information to get.
Yeah. I know there's several other podcasts out there, man. I ain't trying to take anything away. I'm just trying to help. Basically, is all I'm trying to do,
Yeah,
and give out information that people want to hear. I know everybody's got those kept secrets. They don't want to tell everything, but I'm gonna try to pick and prod get somebody information where somebody might be, oh, I ain't never thought about doing that.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yep. There's good guys in the feist world. There's good and bad in all of it. Uh, Ken Kaisley, Toby I forget that little female won NKC World last year. I can't remember Toby's last name, but man, I drawed him twice and at the UKC and the NKC, and we had a good hunt. There's uh, Lauren, I think he made Shelton or whatever. He lives up, got the Crossfire bred dogs, and Tracy City. But all them guys I've met so far been pretty good guys out of Lawrence County Coon Hunters Club.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they do good about putting on a good hunt and all. That's a good one to go to, that NKC World Hunt over there in February. Yeah. If you're a fast man.
Like I said, man, I'd like to make a little bit of everything if I can this year. I'd like to make several of the world hunts just to go and experience it. Even if I ain't handling a dog or packing anything, I'll carry this microphone around, talk to anybody, meet everybody, and cover it that way if that's what I'm able to do, man.
Well, if you get where you want to handle a dog, you just let me know.
Boy, don't be telling me that. I might be making you bring 2 or 3 down here to one of these hunts just so I can have something to run to compete. Because, boy, after this evening, I got that humble pie, and I was like, boy, I got a lot of work.
Yeah, I got a lot of hopes this year. I think most guys in the competition, they set themselves a goal. Shane Mason, I mean, you just write it down, man. You set yourself a goal.
Yep.
And then you capitalize, and I mean, you push that to meet it, and then it's going to pay off, but that's the start of it all. And that's, I don't think nobody goes to a world hunt without the attitude to put the time in and the boot time. They're just not showing up, man. They got a goal.
They're there to win it.
They're there to win, and I've drawn them guys, and we've had some heck of a hunts, it's been really, really good. But I learned from them too,
mm-hmm.
out there, and I learned what I need to be doing.
That's one thing about it. I don't think a dog can ever stop learning, and I don't think we can either. There's always something to grow with.
Yeah. So. Well, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, buddy. I'll get off here. I appreciate you getting on here. Hopefully, we can do it again soon, buddy. So.
Yeah, we'll get together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You enjoy your afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll let you know when we get this thing out, buddy.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. You have a great afternoon.
Bye.